What is up guys, this is Tim Tens here with another video. Today we are in the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg and the plan of today is to hike the Valley of the Seven Castles and say hi to my lovely girlfriend. And we are meeting two other people plus their kid. The Valley of the Seven Castles is actually 37 kilometers long. And you can hike it in one day if you're very courageous, or how do you say that? But we're just going to take the car, and we started not in the beginning of the trail, but we started at the first castle, and we're just exploring the neighborhood of the castle a little bit. It looks very nice here. When you're visiting the first castle of the seven castles in Koerich, there's also a very nice church just behind the castle. It's also worth a visit. Make sure to check it out. When you're at the first castle in the small town of Koerich, I would advise you to walk around a little bit because it's a very cute little town with some cozy medieval looking houses, so make sure to check it out. We just arrived at the next castle, which is again more like a ruin, but it looks pretty nice. The only problem is that it's closed and it doesn't seem like we can enter somewhere. So we're going to try to find an entrance here, but I'm assuming that it's not allowed to enter. And this castle is called Burg Simmern, and this is the second castle of this Valley of the Seven Castles. And let me introduce you to our travel companions.
Oh,
say
yes,
hi.
Say hi to Lucas.
Vincent, Lucas and
Hello.
Jessica.
Hallo.
Wat zeg je, Lucas? What do you say?
Nee, ik heb geen goesting.
So we arrived in the next castle, which is the new Château from Ansembourg. And this looks much nicer. It's not just a castle, it's like with nice Baroque gardens and some small church. It looks pretty nice. So what do you think? First impressions?
Okay.
far the new castle of Ansembourg is the nicest one, and the gardens are absolutely worth a visit. So we just arrived at the next castle, and apparently it's a hotel and we are not allowed to stay here, so we're about to leave now. Now we're on the way to the 5th castle, or the 6th one. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th castle, and that's the castle of Hollenfels. We're actually hiking this part, and it's pretty steep, so make sure you got your hiking shoes on. Tired?
No.
We arrived at the next castle. This castle is called Hollenfels, and it looks pretty nice. There are actually 2 big towers. There's a small church around here also, but I'm not sure if it's accessible. Let's go and have a look. So the castle was built in 1729, and in German it's called Schloss Hollenfels. It looks pretty nice. It's like there's a new part and an old part, so they build an extra part later on. And from this side it looks pretty nice. The colors are pretty much a match, but if you look on the other side, there's a big contrast in the new part and the old part. This castle is not accessible, but the garden is accessible, and there are some nice viewpoints around here. So it's probably, after the castle of Ansembourg, the nicest one so far. And we arrived at the next castle. The next castle is called Château de Schoenfels, and it's more like a big tower. I don't really see it as a castle. It's a really big tower, but it looks pretty impressive actually. I'm not sure if it's accessible. I'm pretty sure actually it's not accessible. So we're just going to have a look around here outside and enjoy the beauty of the tower slash castle. We arrived at the next castle and the last castle of this trip. This is called Château de Mersch, and we're going to explore a bit. Looks pretty nice. The entrance is really nice. It's like, I don't know, it's like some kind of pastel color, brownish. Looks very Disney kind of. When you reach the last castle in Mersch, I would advise you to walk around a little bit, because there's a very nice building here. I'm not sure what it is. I'm trying to find out, but I think this is actually the nicest building that we saw today. So make sure to check it out. Apparently it's the St. Michael Church. Very nice to see here. Alright, this is the end of the video. I hope you liked it. We have a bit mixed feelings about the 7 castles. I think it's more worth it when you hike it, and not when you just drive to every castle and try to enjoy the castles. It's better to hike it, and I think it's nice to see some castles on the way while hiking. Probably you can see some nice nature while hiking also, but with the car I would not advise to do it, because the castles are, well, not really amazing. I think the one from Ansembourg was one of the better ones. But make sure to hike it. I think it can be worth it. And maybe once the castles are more renovated in a few years, it can be really worth it. So stay tuned for the next video. We're heading to Portugal in about a week. So the next vlogs will be from Portugal. And subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and give it a big thumbs up. And see you in the next one.